So Zosh's K24 swapped Integra became Zosh's Integra with a blown motor, no motor, and sitting back at my shop. So the game plan is for this video, it's gonna kind of be a continuation of where my last video left off. As in the last video I was cutting out the shock towers, and in this video we're gonna build and completely do some custom shock tower extensions.
And now, you're watching the Viagra, Cialis, and all other natural male enhancements for shock towers channel of YouTube. Welcome to Bodevision.
Hey, so what is up and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me on yet another video. So right now in this video, I've already been at the shop for a couple of hours. I actually got ahead of the game just a little bit, and I went ahead and I did some more cutting. At the end of last video, all I had was that side cut out. Now in this video, I got this side cut out. So as you can see, that's all good, that's all out of the way. And now I took some measurements, I put the hood back on the car, I got underneath the car with a flashlight and a ruler and figured out exactly how much room I had from the old shock towers to where the hood sat, and then I figured out exactly how much room I'm gonna have to work with my new one. That's what all these numbers are right here. This is the old top, that's the max, or that's where the hood was. So that's how much distance I had, and then I put the level, this level I put it right there, and then when that was level, that's what this line was. So the distance from the level to the old shock tower was this much, the level from the max was that much, and then where my new one is going to be exactly 1/4 of an inch higher than where that level sat level, and that 1/4 of an inch is represented by right there, those paint sticks. So now if I put the level right here, right in that spot, and I make it level, that's exactly where I want the tops of my new towers to sit, and that way I'm gonna know both sides are exactly even. I just have marked right there, that's where the level needs to go, and right there, that's where the level needs to go. Those are in the same spot, so as long as the frame is straight, as long as everything's straight, the tops of my new shock tower should be exactly the same on both sides. So now it's time to start building them. What I did is I just kind of got a template going, and that's kind of the shape I want it to be. And so now the next step is I took that paper, and then I just got a thing of sheet metal right here, and then here we go. That's each one of these sitting just like that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, obviously, so you get the idea. So now the metal's gonna really start to take shape, and the next thing I gotta do is I gotta take this metal and cut it out and turn these little templates that are paper, I gotta turn that into metal and then start building them out. You'll see, I'll show you the entire process like I always do. Alrighty, so I have those 4 pieces cut out, and if you can see, I have them sitting right over here along with the template. So you can see that's the template, that's the same size, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I don't know if you can see, or I don't know if you can gather as I was doing them. The first thing, I just cut them all out with my little I don't know, with that little old thing, whatever it's called, I'll put it on the screen right here. I'm drawing a blank on what that's called. So anyways, I just kind of did a rough cut, and then I viced them or clamped them all together, and then I just went with the flap disc, and then I grinded them down completely to make sure that they're all nice and consistent and all the exact same size, because with fabrication and all that stuff, we want to make sure that they're the same. So they are all nice. So now the next thing to do is I got to figure out exactly how I want to do them. And what I mean is it's going to be something like that, and there's going to be some excess over here. But the main goal is we want to carry this line up and around, and then same with this line is going to come up and around. And then over here it's going to be cupped and it's going to look really good. And now a lot of companies that sell these shock tower extensions, they sell them as a whole block and you just put the whole thing on there. But I actually like building them onto the car. I find that they fit a lot better to just contour them and put them exactly how they're going to be sitting and build them like that. So I like to do the two sides first, and then I like to kind of put a piece of sheet metal over the top of that and trim accordingly. When it comes to that step, I'll get there, but the next step that I got to do right now is I got to put the 4 sides on, the 2 over here, 2 over there, making sure they're nice and even and consistent, and also keeping in mind making sure that the hood's still going to clear when it comes time for the hood to close. Alrighty, so that's tacked down and it's looking pretty good. So now actually it's the next day. I gotta run over and I gotta get more carbon, argon. I gotta get a new mixture for my welder. I ran out of gas, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that now, and then we'll be right back here in a little while, and then we'll figure out what the next step is. Alright, so I got my gas and we are ready to go. So now the next thing I gotta do, or the next thing that I did, is I just put this piece of paper right here, and as you can see, as this is gone, there's the top of the control arm, and that's as high as it could ever be, and it's actually hitting in there, and that's all strong, that's all good. So I know it's gonna hit somewhere else before it hits where it was hitting before, and I'm okay with that. Now where it's actually hitting, it's probably never ever gonna get that high, so that's all good, and I know that my new stuff is never gonna get knocked out of there, so that's all good as well. So the next thing I gotta do is I gotta make this piece of paper. This has gotta be turned into metal. Alrighty, so here's how we look. Now this is 100% metal. This is just the first weld. I'm still gonna go ahead and grind it down, and then if I need to weld a little bit more, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna take my flap disc, grind down some of the high spots, but overall for the first weld out, I mean, I think it is looking really good. I'm by no means a professional welder. I'm by no means even a, I don't know, I think I'm a okay welder. I can get the job done. So how I actually went about going about doing this is I just put a piece of paper over it, over the 2 little pieces that were there, just like on that side, and then I had this. So this piece of paper, just like that, and then I put that on a piece of metal, just like that. And then I tried to start to contour and shape the metal, bend it over as best as I can to get it as close as possible. And then I just started with this end. I put the metal down right here, and then I just kept welding a little more, pushing it more and more each time, welding up a little higher, pushing it down a little higher, or a little lower at this point, and then pushing it down and really working it in there. So that's looking really good. That's looking really nice. And now also I wanted to mention underneath it, there's a bunch of exposed metal. I'm gonna go ahead and get everything out of there. I'm gonna prime it, and then I'm gonna put a whole bunch of undercoating on there, just so that way the underneath side is just as protected as the upper side is going to be. If you don't address anything underneath it, it's gonna rust and then fail over time, and we don't want that to happen. So one side pretty much done. Now I wanna leave that side just like it is and go ahead and make that side match that side, and then I'll go into refining it a little bit more. Alrighty, so those are looking really good. I'm definitely really happy with how those came out. And I mean, a lot of times when I've seen this in the past, people use those kits, the prefab shock tower extensions. They just put them on there, kind of weld them pretty crappy like, and they just put a whole bunch of body filler, and then they make it look how they want using the body filler. And that's wrong for a couple different reasons. Number one is you're not supposed to use that much body filler, because if it does hit, it's gonna crack. It's just not gonna look good. After that happens, it might look okay at first, but also the way that I'm doing it with the metal being the primary shape, I'm just gonna have to use a little bit of body filler to make it look nice. So I don't have that much more work ahead of me because I took more time to make this step look good, as opposed to getting lazy on this step and then having to work really hard to make it look right. So overall, like I'm saying, I think it looks really good. I am definitely happy with this. If you didn't understand the process that I did, I just made the two side pieces, and then I bent that top piece over it, and I worked it down. So then I started right here, and then I did a little spot weld on each side, and then I folded it over more, spot weld on each side, folded it over more, spot weld, and then just kept going. So overall, that looks really good. I hope, if you plan on doing this, I hope this video helps you, and if you had any questions, please make sure to leave that in the comment section below. Also, I wanted to mention this, the Bodevision, the retro decal on the back of Zosh's car. I also got one on the back of Pepto right here. And then also on the back of the Hellcat Swap Miata, my brother Josh, a cop with the swap, he's got one on the back of his car. So if you are interested in one of these, all of those and a whole bunch of different colors are on my website. That link will be down below, so go check those out. Also, there's a couple different other things on there as well. So overall, for this project, the next step is for me to go ahead and do the body filler, primer, sand, prep the bay. But as far as building the custom shock towers, as far as what the title says, here you go. That's it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like this video, comment, subscribe, do all the stuff. You know what it is, YouTube. Check out the merch. Man, a lot of work. I'm out.